Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Paul Kelly. This is the final prediction video for the big fight happening at featherweight this weekend between Liverpool's own Nick Ball and Ronny Rios. If you enjoyed this video, if you like our content, please do subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Check the rest of our content out. We do previews, betting, tip shows, review shows, interviews with fighters, and final predictions like we are doing now. Paul, good to be joined by you. Nick Ball's first defence taking place in Liverpool, going up against Ronny Rios, a guy who's operated at a high level, consistently at a high level, very experienced, but possibly a step down to the guys that Nick Ball's faced in the last year or so. Nick Ball not had it easy. Obviously, kind of had that fantastic win over Raymond Ford last time out. Had the draw against Ray Vargas, the win against Isaac Dogbo. He's been fighting high level guys for a while now, so arguably a little step down. But I'll leave you to comment on that. What is your final prediction for this one, please?
Yeah, mate, thanks for having me on as always. It's it's one of them where I think the name, as you mentioned, it's one of them where it looks good on paper. He's been there, done it. Ronny Rios obviously fought some of the best around, super bantam and feather. I don't know about you, but I think this is a perfect opportunity for Nick Ball to look good on a homecoming fight. That's what I think this is. I think this is the first time he's fought in Liverpool since small holidays, which wasn't actually that long ago for Nick Ball, before he kind of knocked out Isaac Lowe at Wembley when nobody had really heard of him. Before that, that was the last time he fought in Liverpool. This is his homecoming, so to speak, first defence of his title. How often do we see, kind of maybe tee it up a little bit for the home fighter to look good, to put in a stellar performance, to get the hometown crowd up on their seats. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen this weekend at the Echo Arena or whatever it's called now in Liverpool. I think Nick Ball, as you mentioned, hasn't had it easy. Far from it. Obviously, maybe I suppose he is undefeated, but arguably unlucky not to have two world titles potentially, because a lot of people did have him beaten Ray Vargas as well. But yeah, mate, my final prediction for this fight is that Nick Ball will get back on the KO streak here and will stop Ronny Rios. I think that would be a bit of a statement as well. I don't think it'll be early, but one thing that's really swaying me to Nick Ball stopping Ronny Rios is that Ronny Rios is getting on a little bit, plus Nick Ball carries his power late. He's got a freakish engine, as we've seen in his last few fights. He carries his power down the stretch. I think that he could get to Ronny Rios late on in the fight after kind of outboxing him, outmaneuvering him, maybe having a few rounds off in between, but I ultimately see him stopping Ronny Rios fairly late on.
Yeah, fantastic. I think that's most people are going to go with that. Ronny Rios, look, a good fighter, but most of obviously three of his four losses have come via stoppage. I'm going to take this opportunity to say as well, just being a bit cheeky, ESBR have kind of been with Nick Ball near enough from the start. We interviewed him after his fifth professional fight back in 2018. Paul, I know you've interviewed him for the last 2-3 years, so it's nice. It's kind of it's. I always take a lot of pride knowing that we've been with some of these guys from the start, along with Tyler Denny, Brad Pauls, and guys who are kind of doing really well in their career. So I'm just going to throw that in there. Nothing to do with the final prediction, but just me being a bit cheeky. My prediction, Paul, Nick Ball. I think that this fight, what's supposed to happen in this fight is Nick Ball is supposed to look good, get a stoppage in front of a home crowd. It's his first fight in Liverpool for a while. And at the same time, he's going up against a name. He's not going up against someone who doesn't have a chance. He's not going up against someone who's 20-1 to win this fight or something like that. So again, being a bit cheeky, it's a typical Frank Warren move in the sense that it's a good bit of matchmaking. It's the right fight for Nick Ball before he possibly goes on to bigger things. I will go in the mid rounds. As always, I'm going to ask you to give an exact round. I will go first. Mid round, I'll go round 7. I think it will be rounds 5 to 8, and I'll go round 7. What about you? What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I can see your thought process behind that definitely, mate. I go a little later. I think if I was putting money on it, I would probably go for the final third of the fight, so rounds 9 to 12. But exact round wise, I'll go with the ninth. So Just past, yeah, just past a couple of rounds after you, but yeah, I think we're both in agreement that this is a perfect matchmaking. It's a fight for Nick Ball to look good in front of his own crowd, his own fans, a lot of his friends and family. I'm assuming, and people that know him will be there as well. And yeah, it's an opportunity for him to look good whilst also getting a good name. Hopefully, before even bigger fights in 2025.
Yeah, no, fantastic. We're in agreement again. It's a little bit boring from us. I do want to ask you, Paul. What do you what do you think can happen next for Nick Ball? Looking at him, I think he's going to stay at featherweight. I don't think he, I'm not. I don't think he'll move up and fight a super featherweight anytime soon. There's some massive names at featherweight. Obviously, there's that rematch with Ray Vargas, the winner of the Espinoza Robbie Ramirez rematch. Nick Bowie's obviously in that kind of like Riyadh season club now, where if you're on a Riyadh season card and you look good or you win, there's a good chance you get invited back. So there are big opportunities for him here. Is there a name that springs to mind for you for someone we could possibly, if he gets past Ronnie Rios, see Nick Bull face in 2025?
Yeah, there's definitely a few. I think there's a lot of options. What I always would have said was I think him against Luis Alberto Lopez would have been pure violence, but he obviously got stopped, Luis Alberto Lopez, last time out against Angelo Leo. That's a fight that I would like to see Nick Ball in, if not next, definitely in the next couple of fights anyway. I think that's a winnable fight for Nick Ball. It was funny, like there's probably unfinished business with Ray Vargas. Ray Vargas has been very inactive, and he might know himself. I don't really know what his crack is with the belt, but he might know himself that he probably got away with one the first time around. But that'll be something that Nick Ball want to put right in his record, having that one draw there. So that's another one, another option. As you mentioned, the Espinoza Rubisi Ramirez rematch. How funny would it be? Say Espinoza, for argument's sake, wins that, right? You've got Nick Ball, who's what, 5'2",
Yeah.
5'3", against Espinoza, who's like a 6 foot featherweight. It would
Mm.
be insane. It would be even more amplified than the Ray Vargas fight. It's another one that I think I'd love to see. And then the obvious one, I'm going to throw his name out there. The man that we do like to talk about on this channel, obviously, if he ever moves up the featherweight from Super Bantam, imagine he fought a new. Imagine Nick Ball was given the opportunity to be the first person to beat Naoya Inoue. That's one that I would love to see. And if not next year, maybe in 2026 as well.
Yeah, I actually couldn't resist but put that question to Dev Sani at a press conference about 3, 4 months ago. Dev Sani being Dev Sani, didn't really answer the question, but he gave his spiel and basically said, look, he thinks Nick Ball would have a great chance against Inoue. I'll ask you just one question on that, Paul. Like, banter, jokes aside, Inoue, we're being told, is going to fight in December. We think that's going to be his last fight at super bantamweight before moving up to featherweight. Nick Ball, obviously, beginning of October, he's fighting. Do you think is that a fight you can realistically see again, like banter aside? But do you think Inoue would fight Nick Ball as an introduction to the featherweight division, or do you think Inoue would maybe go for a softer touch, considering it's another step up, and Inoue started his career at like flyweight? The question I've got for you, really, Paul, is in 2025, the first half of 2025, can you realistically see that fight happening for one reason or another?
Yeah, say he wins in his last Super Bantam fight at the end of the year, if that's what happens. Like, if you put think like Naoya Inoue here, right? You're moving up to a new weight division. Yeah, Nick Ball is one of the best in the division, but he's also one of the smallest. So if you're wanting to fight somebody, now you know he might even still be a little bit taller than Nick Ball if they were to fight each other. And I know there'll be two different fighters because Nick Ball is very, like he's jacked. But think that, yeah, I could see it, mate. I could see it. The interesting thing for me would be, as you mentioned, now he's part of the Riyadh season club in Turkey Al Sheikh. Would that be one of those? Would Naoya Inoue get involved with that, or would Nick Ball, even if he was the champion, maybe have to go to Japan? I think there's more chance of it happening if it was going to be a Riyadh card, but that remains to be seen whether Inoue does get involved in all of that in 2025. I, for one, and I'm sure I'm speaking on everyone's behalf, I'd love to see more Naoya Inoue. So, yeah, I wouldn't be against having him on the card. But the caveat that I'd miss my midweek lunchtime boxing on a Tuesday or Wednesday. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, mate, I think that Nick Ball would make sense in Naui's head because of the size reasons. But equally, It's not an easy touch, but we know Inoue doesn't really like easy touches. Let's be honest. He kind of runs through everyone at the top of the. He ran through everyone at the top of the respective divisions he's fought in. So I don't think he'd be thinking any different if he was to move up to 126.
Fantastic. All right, you heard it here first. Nick Bull, Naoya Inoue in 2025. Paul, thank you very much for your time. I'll speak to you again soon.